So here is Bama fans' reaction to Bill O'Brien to the Patriots news, and they look like they're all torn up. They look like they're super, super sad. What is up, everyone? It is Jake with Master of Football, back at it again. Happy Wednesday. Thank you so much for being here. If you've never been here before, hit that red subscribe button. It won't cost you anything. All it's going to cost you is being up to date on everything college football, pro football, Madden, EA college, anything related to American football. If you like American football, hit the red subscribe button. It will not disappoint you. Also hit the like button. It helps the channel out a lot. And again, we're almost to 1,000, baby. We're almost there. Without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, guys. So there is potentially good news for two teams. And again, the big thing behind trades is a lot of people think, who's going to win the trade here and there? A trade is, hey, we would rather give you this and get that from you. Basically, we don't want this, you don't want that, or we'd rather have this than have that. But if two teams can win at the same time, that's the reason why commerce is so valuable, is because people can trade with each other. Now, I don't necessarily think this is a trade, but you can see the fact that there are multiple perspectives on this move that we need to analyze really quickly. We're talking about Bill O'Brien leaving Alabama for the New England Patriots. He leaves for the same position here. Bill O'Brien returns to New England as Patriots OC, Mike Reese says here. So Bill O'Brien returns to the New England Patriots after agreeing to a deal to become their next offensive coordinator, sources told ESPN's Adam Schefter and Chris Lowe. O'Brien, 53, spent the last 2 seasons as offensive coordinator under Nick Saban at Alabama, now is back to where his NFL career began in 2007 as a coaching assistant. And again, he's done a very good job. Seen some clips out there with him with Tom Brady and this and that. He knows that Erhardt-Perkins system that New England likes to run. He's going to be going back there now. In his first stint in New England, O'Brien quickly rose through the ranks on Belichick's staff to quarterbacks coach and offensive coordinator, spending 3 years, 2009 to 2011, in that role before departing for the head coaching positions with Penn State, 2012 to 2013, and Houston Texans, 2014 to 2020. And again, the Houston Texans tenure there, he actually had a pretty decent record there. Some of his moves and some of the personnel decisions here, and again, many people out there, especially with NFL coaches, you find the fact that they're really good at coaching personnel decisions here and there. They're not necessarily so great at that. I do think he was at Penn State. He goes over to the Houston Texans. Owner wasn't involved. He becomes the de facto GM. He trades David Johnson. He trades DeAndre Hopkins and a first-round pick for David Johnson. It was something. It was just a terrible trade. Anyways, that was one that you saw there. Ultimately, they decided to let him go after an 0-4 start in that 2020 season. A Massachusetts native, O'Brien will be charged with improving a Patriots offense that dipped notably in key areas in 2022, including 11th in red zone efficiency to 32nd, third down efficiency from 10th to 27th, first downs from 9th to 28th, sacks allowed from 8th to 19th, and then touchdowns scored from 48 to 31. Belichick didn't name an offensive coordinator for the 2020 Patriots, leaning on Matt Patricia as the primary play caller despite Patricia's mostly defensive background in the NFL career. Yet it was absolutely weird. You got a young quarterback. You don't really have a lot of explosiveness on the outside. And then you have a defensive coordinator who's calling offense. Bill Belichick's just do the opposite stuff, man. Just try and beat all the stuff that you like to do. But it didn't work out the way that they wanted it to. Belichick also oversaw a streamlining of the offense, changing the blocking terminology for offensive linemen, in which one of his goals was to produce more big plays down the field. But the desired results never came to fruition, leading the Patriots, who are notoriously tight-lipped about their intentions, publicly announcing on January 12th that they would be interviewing for an offensive coordinator. And again, I'm thinking here that there were so many things that the Patriots did when they had Tom Brady that people just put an awe around. Oh my God, they're so amazing. Oh, it's the Patriot way. Oh, you got to do this. You got to do that. You ultimately find out the Patriot way was how many times did Tom Brady cover up warts that you had? I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm not saying that he's not one of the best coaches of all time. I am saying, though, that it's amazing how many coaches can get tenure longer than you would imagine they would in the NFL because they've got a dynamite quarterback. And especially if that's Tom Brady, you're an incredible quarterback. So he covered up a lot of things there. But you see now they're starting to announce some certain things. They're starting to be a little bit different. It's not necessarily because the Patriots are different. It's because they have to move differently because they're just like everybody else. They're going to be good. They're going to be bad. This and that. It's just the ebbs and flows of seasons. Tom Brady is once in a generation. He's not going to be there to cover up those issues anymore. In addition to O'Brien, the Patriots also spoke with New England tight ends coach Nick Caley, Minnesota Vikings wide receiver coach Keenan McCardell, Arizona Cardinals assistant coach Sean Jefferson, Oregon Oregon associate head coach, offensive line / run game coordinator Adrian Clem about the job. Upon landing at Alabama, where he worked closely with quarterback Bryce Young, O'Brien had spent time with the current Patriots quarterback Mac Jones, who helped O'Brien learn the Tide offense in months following Jones's final season with Alabama. O'Brien's headed back to the NFL. Saban will be looking for his 6th different offensive coordinator in the past 8 seasons. Keep in mind what we're about to say here. Oh my God, 6 offensive coordinators in the last 8 seasons. Listen to these guys, okay? Previous 5, Steve Sarkisian, Mike Locksley, Brian Daboll, Lane Kiffin, and Bill O'Brien are all now either NFL head coaches or offensive coordinators or Power 5 head coaches. Yeah, so basically, you coach at Alabama, you're going to do just fine. Whoever gets put into this role is going to succeed. It does not matter what you say. Now, very interesting there, how much they're going to succeed, it depends on who you ask. Because if you go and ask Twitter what their opinion of the Bill O'Brien move is, Alabama Twitter is going to let you know. So here is Bama fans' reaction to Bill O'Brien to the Patriots news, and they look like they're all torn up. They look like they're super, super sad. But yeah, in fact, a matter of fact, if you look up Bill O'Brien and you just start going downhill, you see the fact that everybody is really excited about this. They're absolutely thrilled. Oh my gosh. Come on, man. Man, so you can see the fact that they weren't necessarily doing as well as you wanted them to do from Bill O'Brien's from Nick Saban's perspective. Now, keep in mind, statistically, they were really, really good. This is 2021, and you see the fact here that they were the 6th highest scoring team in 2021. If we go to 2022, they were what we got here? They were the 4th highest scoring team. And then when you go to offensive yards per game, in 2022, they were, that's 11th. And then in 2021, because he was only there for 2 years. In 2021, they were, that's 7th. So they were 7th, 11th in offensive yardage, and then they were 6th and 4th in points per game while he was there. Now, keep in mind that is one perspective here, is that they did very, very well. However, you can see the fact that they weren't up to snuff with what they wanted to be. Here's the reason why. If you look back at it, 2023, 2022, 2021, 2020, and 2019, the last 5 recruiting classes, including the one that's about to come out this next season, Alabama was either number 1 or number 2. So it's fair to say that if that's what your recruiting classes are, you assume your offense is going to be number 1 or number 2. It wasn't. Now, again, still really good, but a lot of people felt like, man, we should be the number 1 offense in the country. We got so many good players. We got this and that. There were some things, and again, you watched it during the Texas game versus Alabama. They didn't necessarily have the ability on the outside receivers as they had before. I mean, how many first-round picks did they have before? Jamison Williams, Henry Ruggs, I know. Jerry Jeudy, Devontae Smith. They had so many studs on the outside. Jalen Waddle, tons and tons of studs on the outside there. It didn't have that this season, and they weren't as explosive as you wanted them to be. Ultimately, they went 11-2. They beat Kansas State in their bowl game, lost to Tennessee, lost to Alabama. You see the fact that they didn't have the production offensively that they wanted. And again, I think that the defensive coordinator needs to get fired for that Tennessee game. That's just me here. But Bill O'Brien, frustrating people out there. He's leaving. Whoever steps in is going to be in a good spot. Like I said, number 1 or number 2 recruiting class, the last 5 classes they've had. And here's the list of rumored offensive coordinators that they're looking at. Here we are on 247 Sports. They always do a good job here by Brad Crawford. He says basically who they have the list off here. First one here is Dan Mullen. Dan Mullen is currently a college football analyst. He's very available. He does like a spread offense, so he's an interesting one. I do know that there's a certain aspect of me that thinks that Nick Saban wants to get back to running the football. Again, you can still be a spread team, wants to be physical and this and that. I think that that's what they might be going towards. Again, Dan Mullen is not a bad option. He's free. He's available. He could go coach there immediately. Not a bad option there, college experience. Brian Johnson, current Eagles quarterbacks coach, formerly of Florida. So I'm not 100% sure there. Again, former Utah U, but then he coached at Florida for a little bit there as Mullen's assistant. I don't really know whether or not he's going to be able to pull him back or not. He might be able to, Eagles quarterback coach to offensive coordinator at Alabama. You saw what happened to the last 6 offensive coordinators at Alabama. Pretty good group there. So I don't necessarily dislike that one. Greg Roman is really interesting here. Now, I know that there's a lot of Baltimore Ravens fans. If they're a Ravens fan and you're a Alabama Crimson Tide fan, you do not want Greg Roman to become over. A lot of people were very critical of him. However, if I'm being honest here, you're critical of him because He had a running quarterback, and he just kind of played to his strengths. Again, the Ravens are a really well-run organization. He's very interesting. Likes the power run. Definitely likes the quarterback run. Helps out with your boy Jalen Milroe, who, if you ever want to see some crazy highlights of a quarterback running the ball, Jalen Milroe, he's the backup quarterback at Alabama. He might be competing for the position the next season, but he is one to watch. Greg Roman, experience with Lamar Jackson out there in the Ravens. Likes physical games. The Ravens are one of the most physical teams in the NFL. I think it would be a pretty easy transition in. That's just me, though. And again, all the Baltimore Ravens fans might be getting mad at me if you're a fan of the Ravens and of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Jeff Lebby's another name that was listed here. Don't necessarily have a lot of thoughts about that one here. The one that I want to talk about is Cliff Kingsbury. I think this is not going to happen. I think that Nick Saban's going to bring him in, talk about his offensive philosophy, and Cliff Kingsbury is... some people say Cliff Kingsbury has failed upward because he's very innovative with his offenses, but you saw his time at Texas Tech, you saw his time at the Arizona Cardinals, wasn't really able to produce as much results as you wanted him to do, but he's a very, very well-respected name. Joe Brady, again, Bills quarterbacks coach, formerly a offensive coordinator for the LSU Tigers when they won the national championship with your dear boy Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Again, more of a passing guy. And I think even when Matt Rule got rid of him, he got rid of him because of a difference in philosophy, a.k.a. one wanted to run the ball, one wanted to pass the ball. You see a couple down here, Jason Garrett, I think it's just a big name. Charlie Weiss Jr., big name. Adam Gase, I don't think so. And that's basically what that breaks down to. I'm telling you right now, I think that if I had to put money, Dan Mullen's probably the favorite. I would not be surprised if your dear boy, Greg Roman, I'm telling you right now, I would not be surprised if he is the offensive coordinator, experienced with running quarterbacks, likes to be physical, experienced with physical teams, well-run teams like the Baltimore Ravens. Would not be surprised if he went down for a couple tune-up seasons with Alabama, went somewhere else. Would not be surprised at all. So that's the situation there. First of all, any Alabama fans, get in the comments right now. Alabama and Patriots. Are the Patriots fans more excited about getting him back? Or are the Alabama fans more excited about having him leave? Get in the comments right now and let me know. Let me know your decisions and everything like that. But that's it for me, guys. I'll see you guys later. I am out.